The word colonization usually is associated with mechanisms of control and power that is imposed by the North towards the global South. The exhibition Landscapes of Belonging gives a possibility to focus on an aspect that is little discussed, colonial processes within Northern Europe.
We wanted to develop an exhibition inviting indigenous, local and transnational artists and develop a concert of voices about belonging and the active production of locality.
Pia Arke is a pioneering figure in terms of researching and reflecting colonial processes between Denmark and Greenland. Arctic hysteria refers to a term that was brought up by the American polar explorer Simon Peary about a phenomenon that he claimed to discover in Inuit women. He had no medical background, but he even brought photographs proving this Arctic hysteria.
The black hair represents Inuit and gelebter, which we call ourselves Greenlanders. It is a reference to all this structural racism that we still are going through. The main thing for me is to decolonize your mindset, because actually as a citizen of Greenland, you are born into colonial power structures, and it's very hard to get out of that mindset.
What brings all the artists together is they are discussing forms of belonging and the connection to people, places, and other beings, and a sense of lived experience.
The work is inspired by nomadic schools where Sami kids went to school. And the nomadic school was instituted by the Swedish church and the state. Sometimes they had examinations of the kids at the school where they were measured and had their picture taken and stuff like that. We're talking about colonialism and oppression. What I'm interested in is the results or the aftermath of this, because I think that's what I'm dealing with a lot in my own identity.
I was adopted to a Sami family when I was only 3 years old, and that's why I got a Sami or indigenous heritage. Heritage is so much more than just the blood. Heritage is about language, about culture, about way of being, how you see the landscapes. The red color is a really traditional Sami color, and it's quite sacred, and that red color is protecting it.
It was also important for us that the exhibition is not exclusively focusing on indigenous artists, but also to involve local artists and artists with a transnational background.
We have consciously chosen a very diverse range of artists who have all a connection to the northern countries.
I show different materials that I gathered from the forest of southwest Finland, and from each of these materials colors were made. The forests were considered sacred by our ancestors. In the 13th century, the church took over and they ordered all the sacred trees to be cut down. And in fact, nowadays, most of the oldest churches in the area are built on these holy crows.
When my voice fails, you take the headphones off, stand up and walk away.
In my understanding, we live in the time of unlearning. What we were told in history books and art history books about white hegemony. And a decolonial approach is one method of unlearning.